Yes, welcome. Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Moonhawk Studios Presents, such as it is. I'm your host, Mac Paladin, and with me in the studio, as always, is my good friend Adam.
Hello.
We got Kevin.
Yeah, I'm over here. Hi, folks.
Penny Fan running the hot mics.
There's less screaming from the archive right now.
I hope you got a hold of that multi-download tool that I posted in the private discussion.
Also, the way the Twitch doesn't attribute the names to the stuff, so that would actually be worse option for me because not all the MSP stuff has names on the actual footage themselves. So I have to go through and manually look and ugh.
All right. And we also have the Galax here.
I haven't lost it yet.
All right, quick rundown on the news. Everybody, let's marathon this. Adam, what's cooking?
Not much this week, other than update on our archive situation. Good news. We have gotten the channel under the 100-hour limit. So, we've got access to the tool set again. All of the fragment stuff is properly archived in its current location. Pettyfan's still working on MSP and his personal streams. He'll give you updates in his news segment. And that's
Roger
really
that.
Kevin?
Kevin?
Nothing much happening around here. Just work and that's nothing really much happening here. So, Petty, what's going on in your world?
Oh God. I guess the biggest thing is I finally have a second monitor. So, hooray, I have joined the Mad Lads with more than one display. Currently, OBS and Discord are living on it, so I can do other things on my main monitor. But yeah, this will hopefully make things a little easier. It was one of those things, it was like $70 for a little portable monitor thing on Amazon, and I decided mine. As far as other things go, yeah, I have the everything underway, everything archived. My personal stuff is going to my personal YouTube. So if you want to go follow me there, there is a link to it in the Discord. And I think that's it for me. Most of my week basically pertained to finishing up the archival. So, Gulix? Hello?
Relatively low key here. I guess the biggest news is that our washing machine died last week, so we finally got the new one today. So that's good. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for April for May when my grandfather's memorial service is gonna be, because it's gonna involve some. My parents are going down for like a week, and a lot of other people are going down for like most of a week, even though the thing is only going to be like one day. So I don't know if I'll be able to get that much time off or even want to, because there's going to be a lot of people around. So it might be a little bit much. I don't know. But I guess I'll keep you guys updated on that. Video game wise, I've been playing Dead Cells a bit. I finally made it through the game on one stem cell with only small to moderate amount of help from the continue mode that lets you keep going when you die instead of having to start the whole run over. But otherwise, I've mostly just been trying to unlock new stuff because there's a lot of stuff to unlock because there have been a lot of updates since I came back to playing it. That's about all I got.
All right. Well, camping life continues unabated, and just working on paying the bill. What happened to our guest?
He dropped off. He said he'd be back in a bit.
Hmm.
Let me
Probably
see.
have to step aside for something. Oh boy.
Hang on. Let me.
Because
I'll
I
jump
had
back
like
on
zero
you.
news this week. So the timing was not great.
Hmm. Anyway,
That's it. That's what I'm saying. I need the guest here so that way I introduce them.
okay. I don't know. We're just used to you having very long
Yeah.
news segments.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I said like 20 minutes or so, because usually it's like,
Well, guess what?
yeah.
I'm full of surprises because I'm an autonomous human being. And
Gas. When did this
I
happen?
got a lot of shit going on right now that doesn't need to be expressed on the air.
Fair
Isn't
enough.
that right,
Oh,
Snowy?
like half the stuff we
Isn't
talk about need to be expressed on the air.
Oh, come here, Kitty. I'm petting my cat now.
Oh man, kitties.
You can't see that because this is an audio podcast, but I'm petting my cat now.
I'm like,
Professionally unprofessional.
well, I sent a ping. So
Yeah. Oh boy, this is. I think this is the first, isn't it?
and it's not a first. It's been a while, but I can tell you this is not a first.
Well, I can't remember the last
I have
time
had
I've been here. This is probably one of those.
I
It
have
only
had no
happened with
news
the.
worthy of reporting before. All right, so let me itemize all the things I don't have going on. I don't have any animation work going on this week. I have not updated my solar array. I did not do a Blue Monday this week.
Yeah.
I am still driving for a living. I just updated my insurance. So that way I can continue driving without being harassed by the local constabulary forces. That's it. That's why there's nothing to report, because I've been spending all of my time trying to keep myself out of jail.
Understandable.
Yeah.
If not horrifying.
I mean, you know, it's anywhere from $1,000 to a $5,000 fine for driving without insurance. So, you know,
Once again,
I've committed to the idea. All right. So one last item. I've committed to the idea that I'm going to be playing my Just Play games more, so that way I can use that money to pay for my digital services. Since I make about $2 to $3 a day off of this, I'm going to use that to pay for my Netflix and Hulu going forward.
hooray! Like
Yeah,
what
real
tier
exciting
level
stuff.
what tier level are we talking about here?
We're talking games where there's like a spinning monster face that I throw swords at for 3
Not that.
hours.
Not the game tier, the Hulu and Netflix tier.
With commercials.
Makes sense.
I'm debating whether or not to add a feature. Since again, now I have to kill time. Thanks, guys. Since I was thinking about adding a feature to my channel to where it's like Mac plays games for money, and it'll have an asterisk next to it like Thunderbolts, where I can get my viewers to pay me bits to deliberately throw my games that pay me pennies on the hour. You know, it's the closest thing to gambling I think Twitch allows. Well, I think Twitch has a gambling section now, but I don't really want to play slot machines or poker on stream. I think it's much more fun to curse at solitaire for half an hour.
Hmm. No response.
Oh, wonderful.
I have cleared out my pantry and doused it with bug spray, and then sealed up all of the edges of it with caulk.
Oh man.
So now my pantry is semi-permanently roach-free, which was a big problem. Well, I mean, the doors aren't sealed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unless you put like aluminum tape around them, I suppose. Bust through like the Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. Let me get that dollar store chicken rice to get on the little butane gas stove that I'm operating over here.
Oh,
Hey!
here it is.
There we are. Back in
Hey,
the
sorry about
saddle.
that. Sorry, my kiddo's having a crying fit, and I need to go call him.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Completely
That would be something
understandable.
to take care of.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
completely understandable. It's just funny because for once I did not have a blowhard news segment, so I had to make shit up.
You're like, so this shit's happening in Hollywood. Probably haven't heard it.
I was
Breaking
like,
news.
well,
I'm doing this.
Anyway,
I called for an entire cabinet so that way it keeps the roaches out.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, no,
that
I'm
was
here.
the
Sorry.
that was
Sorry,
the
guys.
level. That was the level of storytelling I had this week.
Anyway,
we can move
All
forward.
right, so I'd like to formally welcome to the program Tyler Carpenter of Draw and Talk. Tyler, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, guys. Sorry, I'm very hard to get hold of, so I appreciate you guys being so flexible with me. And then we get me in, and then I bounce like 5 minutes in.
Oh,
Family crisis.
I know, dude. Those are whack.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about your program and what you do.
Yeah, so I make comics. Like that's what I do. Lately it's like right now it's funny. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I'm currently at a point where I'm actually trying to like slow it down. So for 10 years I've been making comics, drawing comics, putting them out. I have I have a ton of series. Probably my most well-known series is The Girl with the Mega Fist. Just because of the sheer volume of it. Every volume is 200 pages. I'm currently working on the 5th one. And then I have other ones like My Sexy Witch Academia, Super Plumber Sisters, Bold Assassin Living in a Fantasy World, and then I just do a bunch of one-shots. And then for those people who like really know me, who've been following along, they know that I'm really big into marketing. And I used to take a lot of flack posting like marketing advice for creators. And yeah, so I've been in the indie scene for a while. Some people hate me, some people love me, some people are just like, who the crap is this guy? And I don't know, I'm always down for a silly goose time, so if you're cool with me, I'm cool with you.
Back?
Oh no, not again.
Yeah. I had to mute my mic for a second because I had my own personal crisis there. All right.
Yeah.
So now that we've got the gist of it, let's get to the nuts and bolts. Adam?
All right. I suppose it's a good idea to understand why you got into comics, indie comics, and all that in the first place.
Yeah, so I've always been creative. I've been making comics since I was in fourth grade, fifth grade. I still have the first comic I ever made. It's like in a nice little box. Just been making comics, since I was a kid. I had the printer paper with pencils, and I drew this like 200-page story called The Quiet Spy, and he was anything but quiet because he was shooting everyone and it was super loud. But I stopped making comics. I stopped drawing, got really big into like music, and then I got back into comics when I was like 19 or 20. Started reading comics. Like, keep in mind, I had like when I was making comics before I'd ever like read a comic. Like the most exposure I'd had to like sequential art was like the cartoons that were in the Sunday newspaper, and then like my friend in fifth grade had a copy of Weekly Shonen Jump that he gave me, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the whole world. So like 20 years old, starts reading Marvel, DC, having a great time, get back into reading manga, and I'm like, I want to kind of get back into this. Start drawing. My artwork's absolutely dog shit. So I'm trying to improve my art. So I'm trying to improve my art. As I improve my art, I start getting some drawing gigs. The money I'm able to get from those drawing gigs are funding my own comics that I'm hiring artists for. And then eventually, then I start a YouTube channel called Draw and Talk, start marketing myself, growing a following. Eventually I feel comfortable drawing my own books, put out The Girl with the Megafist, and it's just been up since there.
Reminds me of, you see, now you say you still have your first comics. I ran mine through the shredder because they were an embarrassment to me.
Oh, shame.
I had some banger Star
we
Trek
could
fan
find them, but
no, they literally went through the shredder before I ever scanned or photographed any of them.
Those ones.
Back in 2005.
Hey, man, you gotta keep those.
You know what? I don't feel like having incriminating evidence against me of who I didn't like in high school. That too.
Drawn porn.
Who I didn't like in high school. Some of whom are dead.
Oh, so you can do that. I do that in all my comics still. That's allowed, right? That's sane. People do that, right?
Just don't use real names and it's fine.
See, that was part of the reason it went through the shredder, because real names were involved. Anyway, that was my aside.
Okay. Right. So, would you consider The Girl with the Megafist to be your flagship series? Or how does the comic rotation work?
Yeah, so The Girl with the Megafist is the only series that I write and draw completely. And it's also like the one that's like the longest. So like with all my other side series, they come out in chapters. Each chapter is 40 pages. And I do those in floppies, and then eventually I'll get them into a trade paperback. The Girl with the Megafist always releases in a trade in a 200 plus page trade paperback. And so I'm currently working on volume 5. So we've put out around 800 pages of story. In that series, and so that's the one that's got the most longevity. It's the only ongoing series I'm doing. Every other one is a limited series. Like my series Super Plumber Sisters, that's going to end this year. Bold Assassin will end this year. My Sexy Witch Academia will probably end in like next year or the year after that. But The Girl with the Megafist is the series that's going to be staying around for a bit.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. given like now do you collaborate with the limited series?
Yeah. So in all my with the other series, I work with two other artists. I work with an artist named Erwin, and I work with an artist named Tommy. Tommy draws My Sexy Witch Academia, and he also draws Bullet Assassin. And then Erwin is the one who draws Super Plumber Sisters. And then I've got some one shots. Like I've got Jose Lupia, I think that's his name. And he's currently drawing a 20-page one shot for me called Jose Garcia. My bad. He's drawing a 20-page one shot for me called Blackjack Duelist. I'm working on another one with Donald DeLay called Samurai Penguin Blade. And that's another one shot. So yeah, I like collaborating. I like collaborating with other artists. I don't have time to draw all the books or the stories that I have. So if I'm able to make it happen, I'll try to work with other artists.
That's the story of my life on most of my comics right now. Everything's on hiatus because I've had two people I've had falling outs with, and one person I can't afford, and another person died.
Yeah, I mean that will stop you. That will stop a project for sure. Is the person dying?
Yeah,
That's fucking selfish of that person.
I know. Really, how dare you get COVID and anyway.
He died of COVID. Oh, weak sauce.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna move on before we get canceled.
I was just about to say, do I need to mute somebody right now?
That's a good point for an anyway. Like,
yeah.
Now with your main series, given that all that you do, how long does it take to produce a volume of The Girl with the Mega Fists?
When I wasn't doing all of these other side series, I was able to put out 2 volumes a year. So 400 pages a year. Right now I'm lucky to get 1 out a year. So I'm very curious to see if I'm very curious to see how volume 5 goes. I'm hoping that because I'm ending all of these other series, I'm not planning on replacing them with new series. So I'm hoping that this year I'll be able to get volume 5 out, and then the year after I'll be able to get go back to my 2 volumes a year.
I mean, knock on wood and all that. In fairness, the year is still young. We're only approaching March, so still plenty of time to get volume 5 out.
Yeah. I just want to be able to, before I do the Kickstarter, I want to just have the book completely finished. I learned last year that for the Girl with the Mega Fist series, because it's all on me, I cannot launch that book unless I know that the book is 100% completed. With all the other ones, it's fine. I can work with those timelines, but I have to have that book 100% completed before I launch it. That's what I learned. So we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the year goes. I mean, we're already in March.
Right.
So to me, I'm like, crap, the year's almost over. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean,
for some of us, it can't end soon enough. We were already done. We were already done on January 1st. 2025. That's a wash.
Yep. Anyway, I suppose it's worth going into, aside from the titling, what is The Girl with the Mega Fists?
Yeah. So I mean, it's really that's what it is. The Girl with the Mega Fist. So it's about this girl named Eliana, and in their world, they're basically superheroes. But I don't like calling them superheroes, but essentially what they are superheroes. So in this world, there's 2 gods, the mega gods and the almighty gods, and every 10 years they provide a new hero for the people of Earth to protect them. And it's always one girl and one boy, and depending on what that 10 years is, maybe it's a girl with the mega gods, maybe it's a boy with the almighty gods. And so it's always a pair, boy and girl. They go down, they do superhero shit. But for our story, she's the girl with the mega fist, and the almighty gods sent down 2 twin boys. And so basically what she's had to do is she's had to choose. She's been told she can only choose one of them to go down to Earth with her, and then the other one has to get quote unquote banished. And so the first arc of the series was this, like, we had a ton of battles, ton of fight scenes, ton of villains, but the ultimate story was like, who's she going to choose? Who's she going to choose to go down to Earth with her? Is she going to choose the brother that is the strongest, the most prepared, or is she going to choose the brother that she loves, that she has feelings for? And so the first 4 volumes are basically a training arc because they don't go down to Earth. But at the end of volume 3, she like the very last page, she says who she chooses. Volume 4 is kind of like the fallout of that choice, and then the last page of volume 5 of volume 4, she goes down to Earth with her partner, and the next arc will be them starting their 10-year journey as the heroes of Earth.
Okay. And is this like your other series in the sense that it's a limit, it has a beginning, middle, and end, or is it on an indefinite schedule, let's say?
What do you mean, like indefinite
Batman
schedule
or Spider-Man? Those
Is it an ongoing series or limited run to where there's a the end game at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. There is an end game for sure, but I mean, we're talking like if I can get to the point where I get to tell the ending, we're looking at being at like volume 15 or 16, and if I can honestly get to that point, which would be fantastic, you're looking at like that's 3,200 pages of comic storytelling, which would be like the equivalent of 133 like a 133 issue comic run if they were each broken down to 24 pages. So yeah, technically it is an ongoing.
Right. Okay. And I suppose it's worth asking, what made you want to go the trade paperback route with the girl with the mega fist instead of doing regular issues?
Just the optimization of it. Like if I was doing regular issues, let's say I did the 24 pages. I did 24 pages. That's the equivalent of like 2 chapters in the girl with the mega fist, because I do them in 10 to 12 page chapters. That's just how I like it. So I do a 24 page comic. And then let's say I crowdfund it. So I've got to do like 30 days of prep to like prepare for the launch, 30 days of launching it, wait 2 weeks to get the money, another 2 weeks to then like prep, like get the files over to the printer, wait a month to get those books, spend another week then shipping the books, wait a month or 2 to like get people ready for the next release and do that. So like really what would happen is I'd only get to like 3, probably if I was going like boom, 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 I'd probably only get to do 3 campaigns a year just on that story. And it would take me 3 years to get to volume 1 if I was doing it like that. So I figured the best way for me to do is when I first started doing the series, I was putting out a new chapter every 2 weeks. I throw it up on my Patreon. People would subscribe. They would read it. They would wait the 4 or 5 months. I then put it on Kickstarter, and then but while it's kickstarting, we're still putting out volume 2 every 2 weeks. So that's why it was mostly an optimization thing. And also people like trade paperbacks.
Fair enough. And when you stack it like that, doing the TPB makes the most sense logically and operationally.
Yeah, I had a long story, and I was like, this is not gonna work if it's taking me this long to just release them. It'd be a nightmare.
I suppose it's also worth asking now your styling of comics, because you've mentioned both comics and manga. Do you do Western comics or do it?
I guess like in style, like I do have a Western style. I've worked on a bunch of like Western style comics. I personally don't produce that many. I do have some that I have in the past, and I do have plans to do like a series that's a more Western style art. But like the thing that I like mostly is to do is just like the anime style stuff.
Hmm. And is it black and white or full color?
Black and white.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
I love black and
helps
white.
on the turnaround.
It helps on the turnaround. It helps with the cost. It also makes everything like it makes it cheaper for me to produce. Therefore, I can give like a really good price to the backers. I mean, $10 for $10 for a 40-page book. Girl with the Megafist is anywhere from $15 to $20 a volume, which is over 200 pages. Yeah, I think that's a steal.
Yep. I mean, this is why manga started doing these things in the first place.
100%.
Anyway,
100%.
So before I shift to your limited series, I wanted to ask a bit about the marketing advice
Yeah.
that you put out. In that who do you aim that for? Who listens to that, and what have you been saying to them?
I don't know who listens to it. I hope someone listens to it. Like when I got into comics, I had my first like series called Demons, and it got picked up by a publisher, and I was like, that's cool. And then I kind of just relied on the publisher doing all this stuff. And then it was a 15-issue series, and on issue 13, the publisher folded. They're like, "Yeah, like we're done. We're not going to be doing anything." And I said, "Oh shit." And I was selling like 200 books every release. Which isn't a lot, but like to me I'm like, yeah, 200 books that's great. The problem was that when they folded, they wouldn't give me the email addresses of any of the people that they were selling my comic to. So essentially when they folded, I had to start all the way back from zero. I couldn't even like reach out to the customers and be like, "Hey, like here's issues 14 and 15, you can buy this." And so I was like, "Okay, it was at that moment I was like I need to be able to like control who my customers are." Started learning about marketing through like YouTube and stuff, and started my YouTube channel to like learn how to do marketing. And if I ever had a question about like how should I do this, I would just bring on a creator that I thought was doing it better than me. And I would bring them on my podcast. They would talk whatever, and I was just asking them the questions that I wanted to learn. It was very selfish. I was like, "Hey, how do you do this?" And they would just spew it. And yeah, and just like over the years started getting better at marketing. I mean, now I run I started working at a book publisher, and I started marketing for the book publisher, and I was like, holy crap, these are all the ways that I'm marketing for this book publisher. I turned their online sales from like $1,000 a month to a point where we were doing like $1 to $2 million a year just on like my account with book sales. And so I just started like putting out like, hey, here's some advice, and people will be like, the thing that the people that never don't like is that I'm pretty aggressive. Like artists, in my opinion, they're all crybabies, and they want all these things, but they don't want to put the work into making those things happen. They want followers, they want sales, but they don't want to do all the things that are required to get those things. And so a lot of my posts were just like, hey, like you can't just sell off of your art alone. You're gonna have to do other things. And so yeah, I would post those kind of stuff. I don't really do it as much now because I don't want to, but I don't know. It's hard. Like it's hard. What at this point, I make enough money that when someone asks me for marketing advice, they pay me a lot of money, and now I'm like, I don't know if I just want to throw this out on Twitter for free and get yelled at.
It's kind of.
Yeah, I get the hesitance there.
I was gonna circle back to something you were talking about when your publisher folded. A lot of people aren't really aware of something that publishing is very heavily gatekept, and what I mean by that is, so the publisher folds and they have a book layout and design, and you say, hey, can I get that so I can republish it under my own label? And they're like, no, do it yourself.
Oh yeah. Like we would have we had authors, and like in their contracts it says like the rights of their book revert back to them if there are like 0 copies in the warehouse. Like that was one of the stipulations, and so my boss was like, we always have to have 1 copy in the warehouse so that it never goes back to them.
Right.
And I mean, and like, to be fair, I understand why the book publisher runs that way. It makes sense and it's smart on their end. It's shitty for the creator.
Yeah. I was particularly.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no. Go for it.
No, I was just saying that I was particularly. I particularly cast side eye at the fact, because like I had a friend who was a longtime publisher, and he had this thing where he said that the layout and the format was copyright blah 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 to the publishing company. I'm not going to name names. I mean, people, if you know, hashtag blah blah blah. But I just thought it was interesting that I'm like, okay, but you're not going to do anything with this anymore. You folded your publishing company, and you said you have no interest in coming back to it ever, forever, and ever more. So I need to keep publishing my books. Why wouldn't you just give me the PDF so I can upload it to CreateSpace? And he was like, well, that's the rules. And I'm like, okay.
That sucks.
Yeah, I was like, that's cool, bro. Cool, bro.
Sure, it would be better if it was more common to have a system where people retain most of the rights to the stuff that they, create.
Well, and this is the bad part. I did retain full rights. That was part of the contract, was that I always had full rights to it. So the idea that they wouldn't give me the thing that was already created so I could make some modifications to it and then republish it under my own label was weird to me. But, that is apparently industry standard.
Correct. That is industry standard. Because you might own the text, that's all you owned. Is you own the text.
Well, I also provided the cover, the back cover copy, the layout, the design, and all he did was stick a logo on it. So,
then fuck, I would fight someone for that. I'd fight someone.
that was like a potential cage fight moment if it wasn't a good friend of mine.
Oh yeah. I would have ended said friendship.
I've had worse.
But yeah, that's my. No, you're good. Those are good. Those are good questions.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting that you had a somewhat similar experience. It's like, we've set up this whole thing, and now we're not going to use it anymore. We're going to deny you access. That was like the takeaway from that whole thing that I thought was rather interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they use the guise of like, this is people's private information and like blah blah blah, and like, to be fair, that's true that happened, but really what it came down to was, I was like, wow, I just realized like how little control I had, I realized that I basically gave control of all of my sales to a person that doesn't have my best interest in me. And that's with everything. And so, and that's with everything. And so that's why I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm not going to go through this again. I need to learn how to I need to learn how to do this. Like I need to learn how to market myself and control like every aspect of my business and treat it like a business. Like it's crazy. Like, you know, I work with I run a marketing agency now. And sometimes I want to fight like this one client I have. They're all females, but like I want to like slash their throats because
Whoa.
they're like oh, we're not allowed to have a good time here.
No. Just go ahead. Go ahead. You're on a roll.
I got the reaction. I got the reaction on tape. I got the reaction on tape. We're good.
I'm just like, guys, like there's so much complaining, and yet like they'll message me, like imagine them these business owners are messaging me and go, hey, what's the price of this item on my site? And I'm like, are you out of your mind? Asking me at 10 p.m., like texting me at 10 p.m. What's the price of the main thing that you only sell 3 things. You don't know what the price is of the one thing that you sell. And they had the audacity to be like, well, like if you're so good at marketing my thing, how come you're not telling me what the price is? You should know it. And I'm like, I do know it. I know it by heart. Why don't you know it? Why are you asking me?
Wow.
And there's just a lot of people who they say they want to do business. They don't want to do business. They don't want to do business stuff. They want to work in the business when in reality they need to be working on the business. And that's what people don't like. They think, oh, I was drawing all day and I did this thing. It's like, no, you were working in the business. That's not moving the needle. The things that are going to move the needle are you working on the business, and you drawing the book. Is it like, depending on like what it is, isn't necessarily like moving the needle for you, and whatnot.
Yeah. That was kind of
rant.
No, you're pretty spot on there. I thought it was interesting because, you know, I've been on this 26-year-long journey myself with Starship Moonhawk and various other projects that are outside the scope of this program. And so a lot of this hits the same, you know, and I'm just. It's validating to hear a lot of the same hurdles that you know.
I feel seen.
It's like we're not alone here, you know.
You're not. There's everyone struggling with the same things. There's no
Yeah.
there's everyone I talk with a bunch of businesses. Everyone is struggling with the exact same thing, and like everyone's going through this exact same thing, and it's just whether you're gonna do it, you're not gonna do it, or whether you're gonna work in the business or on the business that day.
And I've had this conversation, and this is why I seem to burn through artists a lot. I've had this conversation with a lot of different artists where they're like, I'm such a good artist, I should be able to go anywhere. And I'm like, yes, you should. The problem is you don't.
You're here with me.
Yep. It's like you know, it's like, I'm not locked up in here with you. You're locked up in here with me. The quote Rorschach. All right, Adam, did we have any more directed questions?
Yes. It's probably worth getting into some of your limited series, like what are Super Plumber Sisters, My Sexy Witch Academia, and Bullet Assassin Living in a Fantasy World.
Yeah, like I can just rattle those off real quick. So, like, Bullet Assassin Living in a Fantasy World is a story about Akari. She was like a very intense assassin in the real world until and she was very loyal to her boss named Dave. She comes back from work one day. Dave says that she's betrayed him, and he shoots Akari in the head. Akari wakes up in a fantasy world with nothing but an AR-15, and so it's the Bullet Assassins is a story like at the A level, like at the surface level, the story is about an assassin trying to stop a horde of goblins from destroying a bunch of races that are in this fantasy world, and she's gonna go to war with them. And she's got a gun, so she's gonna kill, but she's gonna be awesome. But they need to get bullets because she ran out of bullets in the first chapter. So she has to go on like all these quests. Every chapter is a new quest, and then it's gonna, we'll hit a finale on like chapter 5. But yeah, that's a story. So like Dave it was a real boss of mine, and I hate him. So he ruined my life. So I was like, what a great way to put you in this story and be cathartic and make you the bad guy. So that's why we made Bullet Assassin living in a fantasy world. It's cathartic. Super Plumber Sisters. Actually, let me do this one first. Actually, so My Sexy Witch Academia is a series about a girl named Harriet Pope, and she has a secret. She is the most powerful witch in the world, and she is being hunted. And everyone wants to kill her, and so she's looking for these objects called the Chaos Shards, and in the Chaos Shards are the essence of this dark wizard. And she has to go and be like quote unquote undercover at this magical school, and to find these Chaos Shards. So like originally with this series, so what's crazy about the series is that it happened because of a kind of a bet. Because I was always talking about marketing, and I told it was basically the bet was, can you make a new profile on Kickstarter, make a good project, and get it funded without promoting it once? No tweets, no emails, no fan base, nothing. And so I took that I took it, like, luckily I had some desperation that I needed some cash. I had like $400, and I was like, okay, what can I do with this $400? How can I make $400 into like $1,000, $2,000? So I came up with the series called My Sexy Witch Academia, and with that $400, within a week, I had a logo. I had 4 covers. I drew a lot of them, and then I didn't even draw a full page. I just drew a bunch of like panels that I thought would look cool for a story. And I originally pitched it as like a Harry Potter like parody. I threw it up on Kickstarter. Didn't tell anyone. Put it under a whole new alias. It funded in 24 hours. It funded in like 18 hours. I waited like 4 or 5 more days. It gets to like $3,000. And I'm like, wow, this is great. I wonder what would happen if I told people. So on like the 5th day, I posted on Twitter, and I was like, is it possible to fund a Kickstarter without promoting it? And everyone was like, no, it's not possible, blah, 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 blah. Then the next day I was like, I retweeted my question. It was like, what if I told you it is possible? And I did a screenshot of like my campaign, but just the funded section, so people didn't know what it was. And so then there was all this hype, like, oh my gosh, like Tyler funded something, and he funded something without telling anyone. What's he gonna do? And then like the next day, I had this huge Twitter thread, and I explained like the whole experiment, how I did it. And anyways, that campaign got up to like $15,000. And I was like, oh, that worked. That's cool. And what was funny is in that thread, someone said Tyler didn't do anything special. He could have sex changed Mario and Luigi, and it would have funded just as well. And so I was like, that's a challenge.
Accepted.
I was like, that's a new challenge. So then I opened up a brand new account, sex changed Mario and Luigi, found an old story that I had written about 2 brothers solving supernatural crimes, and it was really dark and gritty. Changed it to 2 sisters. They're still solving supernatural stuff, but it's more comedic and lighthearted. Throw that in there, then that campaign did $20,000.
Yeah.
So and then
Didn't
Super
they already
Plumber.
do that? The Super something or other sisters.
No, they did not. It was completely original by me.
I'm not saying you were copying anything.
I'm just messing with you.
Just that someone else might have convergently.
No,
No,
I'm
it's just
not.
bugging me because I can't remember the name.
Concurrent parallel development.
I think you might be thinking of Supernatural.
No,
Yeah, you're thinking of something.
Wow.
Yeah, well, you know.
it's a video game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Gianna sisters.
Yes, that's the one.
Anyway.
No, I created this all myself. No one's ever done this before. It's completely original.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. So no, I just looked up the Gianna sisters. I've never seen this before. Maybe because I didn't have a Nintendo DS. Oh, it was a PS4. What is this game? Is it a platformer? Oh, this is a super old game.
And that's the original. They remade it about 10 years ago.
Oh
Interesting.
Lord.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, and then Super Plumber Sisters, just a story about two sisters who are it's an action comedy. So you this boy named Alfredo who Lucia, so it's Mara and Lucia. Mara's the red one, Lucia's the green one, and Lucia's in love with Alfredo. Alfredo gets kidnapped by like some supernatural monsters, and he gets taken out of the sewers. And they have to team up with their cousins Winnie and Wanda, Waluigi and Wario, and it's just their adventures in the sewer, like battling various monsters and trying to like uncover like what's going on with the city, like why are all these supernatural things happening, where are these monsters coming from. Yeah, super fun, very lighthearted. About to put the print order for Super Plumber Sisters 3 in this week, and then the digitals are probably going to go out. And then Super Plumber Sisters 4, the line art's already completed. So once we do the Kickstarter this year, that will end the series. And the books are 80% completed.
Are all of the men in distress in this series named after Italian pasta?
Just Alfredo. Just Alfredo. Yeah, I had to do that because I had a Kickstarter that I did, and it was a series that gained like a lot of traction, and then I canceled the Kickstarter 3 days in, and it had funded in 3 hours. So a lot of people were shocked that I canceled it. But it was called Chefs. And it's like the Avengers, but it's food. So it's Culinary Heroes Earth Force. And volume 1 was Pasta La Vista. And like the villain was like pasta themed. There was a ton of like noodle puns, like udon noodle. So it's like udon messed up, or yeah. So like there was a ton of that. So I was like, oh man, like I've got to do something with noodles in this just for funsies. But yeah, those are my series. Those are like my limited series. And I have a ton of one shots. But yeah, those are the limited series I'm working on right now.
Okay. Well, I think I've run through my gamut of questions. So I'll see if anyone else has anything.
The only thing I think I have to add is that you're seeing me now on Discord under my alter ego Maze Palladino, and so I'm sort of infamous for certain comics called Ship in a Bottle and Peppermint Saga.
Peppermint Suck.
And
did you say Peppermint Suck?
Saga.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it's a fantasy pastiche that probably involves sucking at some point. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm going to run a Kickstarter campaign for Chapter 6 of Ship in a Bottle. Though I think it's due. I got to hire an artist, and I can't afford to do it on my own. So
Kickstarter's
I'm inspired
right now.
Yeah, I'm inspired. Okay, well, I think that's it for the main interview part, and I really appreciate you coming out here and talking to us. Do you have any upcoming events or appearances that you would like to promote?
Oh man, what do I got? Honestly, like I'm just like really grateful that I was able to come on here, that you guys were able to get me on and work through my schedule. Because I'm never freaking available. So I thought it was cool that we were able to do this. What do I got going on? Right now I'm just in the process of fulfilling like 3 different comics. So I don't really have anything to promote right now. Go to drawandtalkcomics.com. You can go get some free comics on that site. They're available to download. You actually can get Girl with the Megafist Volume 1 digitally for free on that site.
There you go.
Yeah, I have this belief that, and I don't know if it's real, but it's kind of real. When you're gonna do a long series like me, like Girl with the Megafist, I'm gonna be going like, yeah, you guys want to read Volume 5? And if it's a new reader, if they don't like Volume 1, they're not gonna get to Volume 5. So I might as well do Volume 1 for free. And if they like it, they'll read 2, 3, 4, 5, and onwards. So that's my belief. So that's why I'm giving out Girl with the Megafist Volume 1 for free. It does suck though. That's the one with the roughest art.
It's like the dealers on the street. It's like the dealers on the street say the first one's always free.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you want to try this shit? Want to lick it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I got volumes 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you really want.
Yeah, exactly. So go on my site, lick some comics, and then come back for the rest of the stuff you can gulp on. It'll be really fun. They're very all my books are basically PG-13. My Sexy Witch Academia has some, nudity in it, per the title, but it's still very, very fun. I am planning on doing like a safe for work version. I actually had a ton of people message me. They're like, I thought in Super Plumber Sisters, like the sisters were gonna fuck, and I'm like, no.
What
they're
the
like,
fuck is wrong with you people?
Wow.
yeah,
It's the internet.
Wow. It's
I
the
know.
internet. Yes, that's the answer. Yes.
yeah. They were like, well, I guess I'm not coming back for number 2, and I'm like, that's okay. Like, I was like, okay, and then they're like, I'll have to find maybe I'll have to find like that message again, go back on there, because they're like, I'm not gonna come back for number 2, and I went, okay, and then they messaged back and said, unless they do fuck in number 2, in which case I will, but just let me know ahead of the time. I was like, no, they never will. So I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, bro.
Also, I would suggest you contact your local therapy, resource center and get help.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they're stepsisters. I'm like, no, they're siblings. Like,
Oh, Lord.
all right, and
Christ.
Degenerate, am I?
The
Well,
dark
you
side of
are
the
a
internet. The dark side of the internet, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Degenerate, am I? Well, you are a festizio. See? I can make up words too, sister.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Anyhow.
That was great. Anyway, let me finish up the goddamn segment, guys. All right. So I really do appreciate you making the time to come out and seeing us and putting up with our own eccentricities. And it really sounds great. And I think people should go and see your stuff and buy lots.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me. I'm gonna bounce because I hear my kid crying again. So this is a great this is the perfect time to slide out. So appreciate you guys.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Adam, for reaching out to me, and you guys have a good rest of your night.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
man. Thanks so much.
Have a good night.
All right. It was Tyler of Draw and Talk. Be sure to check out his comics on drawandtalk.com. So, all right, Adam, lead us away from the temptation of entertainment news.
We are going into entertainment news.
Oh, we got some this week.
Yeah, we got a lot to get through.
Well, first of all, we have some acknowledgments, I would say. We have some very important celebrity deaths.
Yeah, that's where I was headed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I was shocked initially by Robert Orkey's death, but especially given my ties to Star Trek and all that. But Michelle Trachtenberg. Wow.
Yeah, that's the one we really got to get to.
That scares me because these are two people, one younger and one slightly older than me. So, when I'm watching my own kin drop off the earth, my own generation, and not soon, it just, I don't know, it hits a little close to home now that I've just turned 48.
Yeah.
Right. Though, in the case of Michelle Trachtenberg, from what's been reported so far, it looks like she died of liver complications.
No. What happened was that she apparently recently had a transplant, a liver transplant, and in the last, I guess, I don't know, probably week or two. And she had complications from that transplant, and her body rejected that new transplant. And when a body rejects an organ, well,
especially an absolutely critical one, that's like pulling out the electrical plug from the outlet.
Pretty much. So but was she 39?
Yeah, she was only 39.
Yes.
Yeah, like 5 years, 4.5, 5 years older than me, folks. To give you a sense of this, like,
and 9 years older than me.
Yeah, like I practically grew up with her. Like, I first got into Nickelodeon around, I would say 4, 5, or 6, and she was already a Nick star by that point. So.
Yeah.
He was a bit after my time for Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
I do remember the Harriet the Spy promos.
Harriet the Spy.
But,
and she also went
her
into
from Buffy.
Buffy, yeah. I was gonna get to that, Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm of the age group where I was into Nickelodeon, and she was very much unmissable. Like, Pete and Pete, Harriet the Spy, her times that she showed up on, Figure Out and stuff like that. Like, she was probably the first real big Nickelodeon star of that network. Like, the first big, huge, like, star that they pushed to the moon, right? Like, in terms of, the overall system. Not like, Melissa Joan Hart, she was... Yeah. She mostly got big by the stuff outside of the network by, like, say 96, 97.
I would split an even keel. Like, she definitely got big because of Clarissa, but she got bigger because of Sabrina.
Right. But that was more after she got out of the Nickelodeon system in order to become big. Michelle Trachtenberg was probably the first.
She got, but she got big because of the Nickelodeon system as well. Like, you really can't divorce her.
Right? Yes. Yes. That's actually what I was trying to say. Like, she became like. Clarissa. I mean, Melissa definitely got bigger, but I think Michelle was probably the first to, try to become bigger outside of Nick, but Melissa got to the post first, so I guess that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Though, Michelle Trachtenberg is arguably in that mold of Melissa Joan Hart. Somebody who got big because of Nickelodeon.
Oh, absolutely, no question about that. Yeah.
She got bigger outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
She got taken a little more seriously after she got a role on Gossip Girl too.
Mm-hmm. Although, I mean, when it comes, but like what I'm saying with Michelle is, like, she was probably the first that Nickelodeon tried to push hard on her own. Like, that's what I mean by that. Like, I don't think they pushed Melissa as big as they pushed Michelle for, like, those years from, like, 95 to 97.
Well, I think that's because Michelle Trachtenberg was their first movie star.
That's probably where I would say, yeah. Like, they were the first. She was like the first for them to go, okay, we're starting up this film division here. Who do you want to put in as the first big star of that division? Oh, hey, there's this girl on Pete and Pete. Let's take her.
Right. But I think the overall point is, Michelle Trachtenberg's definitely one of those starlets who was known to a lot of people from somewhere.
Right, exactly. Like, especially for us who came of age in the 1990s. I will tell you that right now. Like, if you came of age in the mid to late 90s, you know something of hers.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like,
I mean, I'm a little older, so Euro Trip was more my scene, but
right.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, if you follow it along, then you really grew up to her in Euro Trip.
Right, but still, it's like if you at least came of age somewhere between 94 and 96, you know her from something.
Yeah. But I think everyone agrees that, this is a death that came way too soon.
Yeah, it's painful, and apparently from what it's reported, she's been having problems recently, so it's one of those
she was apparently she was apparently very open with her friends, but didn't really talk about it publicly. That's why it caught everybody by surprise. So but she was having health problems for a long time, and it's not real clear what those health problems were. Only the end result.
Well, if they were clearly very severe, if you need a transplant of an organ.
Yeah.
Right, but nobody was familiar with what caused that in the first place.
Right.
At least not that I've read so far.
Yeah. This also explains why she dropped off. But
I mean, she was working all the way up until last year. She was working all the way up until last year, though.
Yeah, she was on they had a reboot of Gossip Girl, and she showed up on that. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. She was active, and then she, suddenly went inactive. And it's kind of the answering of the question there.
So that's
go ahead. It also makes sense why she would want to keep that on the down low, because let's say the paparazzi are not nice to female celebrity problem.
Well, apparently up until a couple of weeks ago, she was vehemently defending herself on Instagram without being terribly specific about it, because people were like, "Are you okay?" They were like doing wellness checks on her because she looked so thin, and like she was losing weight, and her face was gaunt, and apparently she was a bit jaundiced, and everybody was like, "Look, we're not making fun of you. We're trying to find out what's going on." And then she was she was real defensive about it.
She wanted to be deathly private about it, which it's one of those.
It's fair for a woman to be defensive about perceived attacks on her appearance. Seems it happens all the time.
Believe me, I'm not in the position. I'm not in the opposite position. I just was like, it's hard because you're in the public sphere,
Right.
Yeah.
But people notice changes.
Yeah. Also, look at the shit that Amanda Bynes went through.
Yeah, that's another thing to think about there. Especially when it comes to Nickelodeon child stars in the 90s being a very hard public discussion at the moment, so she was probably very much mindful of that.
Or the other Amanda Seyfried. She was, people were always like, they thought it was super complimentary to joke about her role in Mean Girls, and she's like, y'all are good.
Yeah.
I mean, Mean Girls is.
It's like, I did that movie. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
But
this is this is very much a painful loss for us '90s kids today. Seeing that, because it's something that you kind of hoped wouldn't happen for another like generation or so, because this is pretty much the first big loss of that.
I mean, a
era.
lot of stars from the '80s
Yeah.
Nickelodeon are still around. Like,
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone from the cast of say you can't do that on television who's died
Who's passed
yet
on?
outside of
Yeah.
Les Lie.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's
there
like
have
this
been
is.
there have been like from the Gen X and millennial generation of child stars, there have been a number of
Mhm.
stealth unalivings, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but nothing like this.
Nothing like this, and nothing of this magnitude. Not until not until today. No.
I mean, I think the closest was Aaron Carter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably the closest.
Yeah.
I mean, before that, like what was it now? Almost 10 years ago, we lost Brittany Murphy.
Which came up today. I saw that picture of both Amanda Bynes and Brittany Murphy.
Yeah.
And she wasn't looking to go. It was just a horrible confluence of events.
Yeah, it's like, this is just an aberration of nature, if you will.
Right.
Because we don't know what was behind her liver problems.
Right.
Like, if it was some rare genetic disorder, if it was severe alcoholism, I'm not saying that, but it's like,
I mean, it could be anything. It's like years ago, people denigrated Arthur Ashe and called him horrid stuff. Like they told him that they made fun of him for allegedly being queer and this and that. And it's like he got AIDS from a blood transfusion during open heart surgery.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
can't get
that should matter.
It was just at a time. It was at a time in which is that the science wasn't fully understood.
But Mac, if he had been morally pure, God would have protected him.
That hurt
that's
me
what they say.
hear. Even sarcastically, that hurt me to hear.
Yeah.
It hurt me to say.
Where's the baseball bats?
Yeah. Anyway.
The episode that inadvertently gets us all canceled tonight.
Anyway, we have other stuff to get through here.
Yep.
Because over at Amazon, they have taken over or are going to take over the James Bond franchise.
Yep. Which is a big shock because,
given how controlling the Broccoli family has been.
I was going to say, you mean they're taking over the right to be told by the family that actually controls the James Bond thing, that they're not allowed to make movies if they're not the way they want them to be?
Now, what's happened here, from what it looks like to me, from what I've read, and I've read a lot of stuff here, it looks like what happened is that Michael Schmidt, who is the other part of the duo that controls the Bond franchise, there's of course the Broccoli family, and then there's Michael Schmidt. Michael Schmidt is in his late 70s.
Call them Eon Productions.
Right. But yeah, Michael Schmidt is in his late 70s, early 80s, and he's getting older. He's not getting any younger. And he decided to basically either retire or take the money and run, one of the two. And that pretty much left Barbara Broccoli, who's the main lady here, basically put her in a box to basically go either, do I still want to fight this on my own?
Kevin, I gotta correct you. Robert was her father. He's dead. He's been dead for a long time. Barbara Broccoli has been running the show ever since.
I said Barbara.
No, you said Robert.
Okay.
It sounded like halfway in between, honestly.
Oh, okay. I was trying to say Barbara. I wasn't trying to say Robert at all.
I mean, if you got a guy named Bob Broccoli and his daughter's name is Barbara Broccoli, they're clearly going for a thing. So
right.
It was actually Albert. I have to correct myself there. It was actually Albert Broccoli.
Albert. Yeah, Albert was the father. Then it went to Barbara. But anyway, to the point, Michael Schmidt either retiring or taking the money and running, or probably both in this case, put Barbara in a box. And she apparently did not want to continue on without Michael. So basically she decided to go, despite the fact that she knows very much what Amazon wants with this franchise and absolutely despises it. Called them assholes apparently to people around her. She basically decided to go, I don't want to do this without Michael, and I'm not getting any younger either, so all right, just give me $1 billion and we'll go. Or more importantly, we'll create a new joint venture, but basically we're just going to get the money and get the financial benefits of this, and we're not going to do anything in terms of the creative aspects of this. Go right ahead. Basically a case of it's basically a case of we get the money, but we don't want to do anything in terms of the creative anymore because we're not getting any younger. That's basically the gist of what I've heard. It might be wrong the way that went down, but that's the way it looks. So it's a case of Amazon just pestering and pestering and pestering, and there being a stalemate, and something had to give, and what gave was Michael Schmidt bolting and Barbara Broccoli deciding to do what's best for her and her family.
In the end, time always wins.
And money.
And
money is the winner here.
Yeah.
Which just, after Bezos's letter to the editorial and opinion departments at the Washington Post, I see this as the end of an era. Pretty much the end of a franchise at this point without the
yeah, well, we're going to see. Yep. Yeah, well, I mean, Barbara Broccoli made it very clear, according to press reports, that she knows very well what Amazon wants with this franchise, and it's a case of she didn't have the fight in her anymore because her tag team partner decided to bail and leave her with the
Well, we'll see. We'll see what they do. I don't think having a bunch of trash made in its name will probably harm the original Bond.
Look, the meme that I've seen going around is the actor who played Vicini and Princess Bride is the front runner for James Bond.
Look, if 007 can survive Moonraker and James Bond Jr., he'll be fine.
I'm sorry.
You say James Bond Jr.? Oh, I'm sorry. You say James Bond Jr.? Guess what's coming back, baby? That's going to be revived.
Oh, God.
They're going to think about it. They're going to think about it.
I mean, here's the thing. Nobody likes James Bond Jr.
until the end of time.
They're gonna milk.
Yes, I got interrupted. That was the second half of it. Is no matter what they do, it won't do that much more to harm the reputation of the, actual good James Bond movies. And also, you can make as much crap as you want, but you can't force an audience to drink it.
Listen. If the franchise can survive Woody Allen as Jimmy Bond,
oh well, I didn't know that before.
in the OG Casino Royale, and I do mean that like OG.
Okay. Yeah, the original Casino Royale is not good.
Congrats, you've got the rights to make a movie with the name Casino Royale with a character named James Bond. You cannot use any of the existing plot.
I'm like, but you can have multiple people, even women, named James Bond.
Well,
God, the original Casino Royale is just everything wrong with 60s movie making.
Yeah, that's why we always say that the original the franchise started with Dr. No.
Yeah. Anyway, moving onward to Warner Brothers.
Yes.
Because this one.
Because of course.
Well, not their film division for once. No, we got to go over to their games division.
Yep.
Oh dear.
The bottom dropped out over there.
I've been waiting for that for a bit of time. Ever since Jason Schreier of Bloomberg dropped an article about, just how wrong things have been going over there at Warner Brothers Games. And this is also on the heels of the fact that I think last quarter, Warner Brothers Games losses of about $300 million.
Damn.
Wow. How
And
awesome is that?
well, that's off of the failures of the likes of Suicide Squad, but especially Multiverse.
Which which was like a thing that they promoted heavily. They were
Multi-what?
pimping it up. Multiverses.
Oh,
It's
right. God, I heard it that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically the
Warner Brothers Smash Brothers thing.
which let's be honest, was a concept on paper that had the potential to be something special, but unfortunately,
I mean, they initially released it with no voice acting. I think they patched it.
yeah.
But seriously.
But I'm getting at on paper. On paper, in practice, it was a complete and total disaster.
Well,
Yeah, I think it also had a bunch of live service
so-
bullshit, and you couldn't actually use most of the characters unless you paid extra for them. But
there were a lot of
Anyway.
problems with multiverses. Not the least of which is everyone who has ever dared to step up against Smash has fallen in the versus Avengers, MCU problem. As in, we want to get to the Avengers now, instead of the fact that, Smash Brothers didn't start out as Smash Brothers. It had to build towards.
Right. Exactly. Like Ultimate, that came from DLC after DLC after DLC after DLC. You had to wait sometimes for your favorite character.
And a lot of
Built
good
off the
deal
back
making.
For Wii U and 3DS, built off of Brawl, built off of Melee. So, it had to get there in order to get there. I'm like,
right.
Time, patience, not a virtue.
On the other hand, there may be some too much patience going on in the games industry because that brings me to where the axe fell. Because Warner Brothers is scrapping Warner Brothers San Diego, a studio that nobody seems to know much about.
I believe it was one of their support studios.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody seems to know if it was a support studio or if it was a mobile studio. That's how little anybody knew about this particular division of Warner Brothers games. So, it's a sad statement, but nobody knows exactly what to. Much more prominent are Player First Games, aka the developer of Multiverses. Also a developer that they picked up only about 8 months ago. And in case you're wondering, why did Warner Brothers buy Player First Productions? Well, Player First Games. Well, it's because they clearly thought Multiverses had more of a future than it ended up. And Player First Games probably sold out because this was their only project. And they didn't have prospects outside of Multiverses. So it was either...
Apparently they were also contracted to do Multiverses, so it was a simple just case of upping the contract here and just seeing where it went. And maybe after Multiverses ran its course in 5 years, they do something else.
Yeah.
Nope.
But the big one is fucking Monolith Productions falling.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Okay. This one has me upset. Because Monolith, they're the ones who have the legacy out of the 3 developers. Because Monolith is an acclaimed developer, but they've never been a super.
Right.
They're the developers of the likes of Blood, Tron 2.0, the Fear series, No One Lives Forever, beloved cult classics, but they've never, at least until the Lord of the Rings, had that breakthrough success that elevated them to, the level of Valve, id, etc., etc., etc. kind of developer. Until I'd say the Lord of the Rings Mordor game. The ones with the famous Nemesis
system.
In fact, people were still asking about the Nemesis system when this news dropped. And for the record, Warner Brothers still has that patented until
2036, yeah.
Because that's how patents work.
Yep.
A year before my driver's license expires.
Yeah. So yeah, folks, they bought a studio. Well, let's break this down here. Like, they bought a studio that was contracted to produce a game.
That is incorrect, and it's been pissing me off to no end. Because Monolith Productions has been owned by Warner Brothers.
We're not talking about Monolith, Adam. Chill.
I wasn't talking about Monolith, and you can clear up the Monolith thing. I was going into players first, but I got it. Yeah. Okay.
A pet peeve I've been seeing.
Right. Okay. Honestly, I fell into that mistake myself. How long have they owned that since? I'm sorry.
2004.
Okay.
Yeah, Monolith.
I've fallen into that trap with Monolith too, so I want to clear that up with that. But when I talk about players first, it's a bit more sinister because they bought a studio for one game that they were contracted to, and then they killed that game, and then they killed the studio in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
That's something to be justly upset. But Monolith, I fell into the trap of thinking that they just bought it just haste, and I didn't know that they've owned it for 21 years. So
no, Monolith has been owned for Warner Brothers since 2004. They produced a lot of games, some of them for Warner Brothers, some of them not. That was existing publisher contracts,
right?
But ultimately, why Monolith died? Because of gross mismanagement, and you can see it in their release history. Their last game was in 2017. Lord of the Rings: Shadow of War.
Right, which gave us the Nemesis system.
No, that's basically the one that improved on the Nemesis system.
Improved it, yeah. Right.
And they haven't had a release game since. And Jason Schreier once again has been giving us the details of what has been going on. So apparently in 2021, they had whatever project they were working on canceled, and their leadership suite axed. So, and 2021 is also when they got a Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that Wonder Woman game.
Yeah. So they had to build a new game, a new AAA title, while also building their leadership from scratch. And from what I've heard, this is very emblematic of the mismanagement going on. Warner Brothers games specifically. Because I can tell you, I have had friends who have worked for Turbine, and now Warner Brothers Games Boston, who have complained about the mismanagement over at Warner Brothers, from 10 years ago.
Right.
So it's not a new thing.
No. It's only gotten worse.
Yeah, because people, first instinct was to blame Zaslav. And
no. There's a lot more going on here.
Yeah, because Zaslav hasn't been in charge of Warner Brothers for that long. He came along in 20. First of all, people have forgotten how bad AT&T's management was.
That's the reason why Zaslav is there in the first place, is because AT&T wanted out because they realized, oh shit, we're not just here for the motion picture studio, we got all of this shit.
Yeah.
And it also built up a ton of debt. So, but more to the point, the reason Zaslav's there in the first place is because they wanted to sell it off and nobody wanted to buy it except him.
Yep. Anyway, if you want a name to attach to your hate, it's David Haddad. He's the guy who's run Warner Brothers for a decade. And also, yeah. Also, he is actually stepping away from Warner Brothers due to, the massive losses. So it's
isn't that funny? That's strange.
Yeah.
What? How can that be?
Yeah. But like I said, if you
It's
want,
completely coincidental. Entirely coincidental. Come on.
Entirely.
but like I said, if you want a piece of shit to blame with the name Dave, it's this one. Because he was there for a decade. So, and like I said, the mismanagement has been going on for a lot longer. Like, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt any less.
Right.
I'm like,
it's still a disaster.
Yeah. Also, speaking on the Wonder Woman game, reports seem to indicate that it was aiming to be yet another service until they were putting the brakes on that because Warner Brothers' previous live service attempts haven't gone too well.
No.
It's times like this. I wish I had alcohol in my minibar.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You just can't stop making a live service and switching it into a single player game.
Yeah.
That's what killed Dragon Age the Velgar. Because that was a game that was being live service until EA put the brakes on that and then tried marketing it as a regular Dragon Age. The thing is,
nobody bought it.
Yeah, people picked up on the fact that this isn't as in depth as previous Dragon Age.
Wait a minute.
It's like so. Game was kind of fucking doomed one way or another. Honestly, once again due to executive mismanagement. People have also speculated, the Wonder Woman IP being toxic for various reasons. Look, if that were the case, they would have not gone forward in 2020. They initially made the green light, or they would have canceled it before now. So a lot of mismanagement at Warner Brothers. Stop me if you've heard this.
Yep. The whole company is a damn mess, and Zaslav is not the be all and end all. I think that's what we're starting to learn here.
That's the. Well, people tend to lightning rod this shit because it's easy.
Yeah. Sometimes shit's more complicated. Media. Yeah, sometimes shit's more complicated.
Well, it often is. It's also
is, yes.
Zaslav is the overall head of Warner Brothers Discovery. So you've got people who make these calls down the line.
Right.
Warner Brothers proper is run by
Mike DeLuca and Pab Abdi. Yeah.
Well, you can't, you can't expect one person to run a studio all by himself that's been around for 100 years.
I can't remember right now.
I already said
running into their own problem.
Yeah, Michael DeLuca and Pab. I think it's Pamela Abdi. I think that's her name, but I know one of them is Michael DeLuca. Yeah, I know who they are.
But I mean, there's a lot of moving parts there, so you can't expect Zaslav to know absolutely everything about everything. That would be like asking Bob Iger to know every single little bit of minutia about the massive conglomerate that's Disney. It's like he has a general sense of everything, but specific knowledge of certain things.
Right. Now, in fairness, Disney, at least under the Iger era, was a lot more micromanagerial at the CEO level, the executive suite, than usual. But it is
he still had minions that handled day to day.
Right. It's like how do I put this? Yes, CEOs can be stupid and short-sighted and all that, but it's also they are leading very big organization.
Right.
Yeah.
why you have a lot of middle management in the first place.
Now, like I said, you got a 100-year-old studio. There's a lot of moving parts.
Well,
Right.
not just that, but they added the Discovery stuff in there as
Right.
well.
Moving parts that have added more moving parts to it to make it even more complicated.
Right.
Right.
Like, anyway, I think that'll about do it for entertainment this week.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Let me bring up the list here so that way I can follow along with you. I had the document open.
Yeah, boy.
It happens.
Mhm.
It's a little trickier on my phone here.
Mhm.
We have it in the pins, but I just
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was sure I had it open, but apparently I switched Discord windows in the interim, and that just shut everything down.
Yep.
Professionally unprofessional, folks.
Yep. Mhm.
He's in 19.
Mm.
11. All right. So let's see. So on March 5th, our 11th episode of this season, we're going to have Hegle Maya of Kawaii Games. Now, Adam, since this is gaming stuff, I'm sure you want to expound on that.
Yeah. So this is a bit different. This isn't game dev necessarily. Because Kawaii Games isn't a game developer. They're a
Yeah.
game portal manager.
Oh,
Like
still.
Game Jolt or Congregate, something like that. Only dealing exclusively with cute games.
Mm.
So, something a bit different.
Mhm.
All right. Well, something to look forward to, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right. Well, again, thanks to Tyler Carpenter for showing up and chatting with us for as long as he was able to. Really enjoyed that, and we look forward to his next project. And then next week definitely sounds interesting, so I'll be looking forward to that as well. So I think that's it for this week's episode of Moonhawk Studios Presents, folks. I thank you for listening, and as always, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, kids.